request songs that you don't hear a lot in the normal set. So I thought the idea was novel and exciting because here we are and I get a chance to just like learn a bunch of music and whatnot. So this first song, I will tell you, is one of, if not my favorite, Something Corporate tunes. It's a song very much about that sort of nervousness that I felt in the band in the initial sense when we were making like our first studio record. We're sitting in this incredible recording studio where Sinatra and the Beach Boys had recorded, and Weezer was in right before we were, and I was just feeling both terrified that my dream wouldn't come true, and also excited that maybe it would. But I think there's a moment, and I'm sure some of you can speak to this too, like when you get to do something you really love, sometimes you can feel like a little bit like an imposter or something, and that's a common feeling. It's one I'm familiar with, but this song is really sort of about belief and pushing through that feeling. It's called The Astronaut. I've been sleeping with a ghost. I've been watching stars coming out of the sky, and I've been hoping I'm close. Spaceman movies I call my life. I've been climbing these ladders through time. I got tunnel vision, but I'm doing fine. And I've been watching the stars coming off my wall. Maybe if I'm lucky I could catch one before you fall. And you are not much. Thanks, guys. I love this now. We've got like people toggling between the two streams. That's hysterical. So yeah, I mean, that song, obviously, it sort of opened a lot of doors. I mean, think about obviously the Spaceman theme was such a real thing for me, and is such a real thing to this day. I mean, I played a little snippet of the new single or the new song, Get On My Wave, which has like a little line baked into that accordingly, Spaceman theme. The next thing I'm going to do is really sort of informed by my love of the Beach Boys, but what was really at that point like a fledgling love of the Beach Boys. Somewhere around my 21st birthday, I want to say, I swear to God, it was like there was just this thing nagging at me that said, like, you need to listen to Pet Sounds. And I don't know why or where that instinct came from, but I got a copy of the record and put it on. And I remember listening to it all the way through the first time and being like, I'm not sure. And like kind of walking out of the room and one of the songs just grabbing me and saying, oh God, I have to listen to it all over again. And I listened to Pet Sounds, I swear to God, probably 5 times a day for 2 years after that. And this song kind of got wrapped up in that influence and that period of time in my life when I was working on a record called Everything in Transit. And yeah, so I think there's a little bit of my love for the Beach Boys and Brian Wilson's melodic style kind of baked into this jam. And I also mentioned them in there, so it's called Miss Delany. With Well, cheers! Welcome to those of you who are just getting here. Hello to you, my friends on YouTube. That was a lot of fun to sort of work on that jam. I did a lot of that stuff out of a studio called 4th Street Recording out in Santa Monica with an amazing producer named Jim Wirt, who for me was, he hold on one second. Cecilia's coming in here with the live stream. I don't think she realizes that it's going to be like slightly delayed. Hold on. Give me a second. Hey, buddy, it won't make sense to have that in here because it will... Is it okay? Okay, cool. All right, yeah. The 5-second delay on that is real, apparently. So I know now when I ask you guys questions and you don't actually answer them in time, that's why. Anyway, well, I digress, but if Jim Wirt is out there and listening, I love you, Jimmy. We made a lot of cool records together, this being one of them. This tune, Ruthless, I think a lot of people think of as like a love song or a breakup song, a relationship, a romantic relationship breaking up. And really, at the time, it was about like a business relationship that had gone south really quickly and got kind of contentious and pretty brutal, to be perfectly honest. And I remember feeling very taken advantage of and kind of angry and vindictive almost, or vengeful almost. And that's not a normal state of affairs for me. I mean, obviously, if you see Jordan, that was pretty vindictive. And this was sort of, I'd say, probably like the last of those kinds of tunes for me. But I do love it, and it was on this list of y'all's, so I thought I'd break it out here. It's called Ruthless. On my floor, littering my shore. This is the last true burning letter given to a girl, written by a boy, living in a world created to destroy. But if I built you a city, would you on her tongue and a body full of oxygen. Won't be the last time she'll ignore me. The thinning of my skin without the strength to go. The wind setting in to cover you in the snow. But if I built you a city, would you let me? Would you tear it down? But there you go for the last time. I finally know now what I should have known, that I could still be ruthless if you let me. rivers and walk them, oceans to drown in. You won't make a sound in, but there you go for the last time. I finally know now what I should have known, and I could still be ruthless if you let me. And there you go when I'm not done. You're waving goodbye, but at least you're having fun. The rising tide will not let you forget me. Forget me, yeah. Thank you. Person drinking. Okay, so are we good on the blurry thing? I just want to make sure that that is, yeah, I know, this is what he calls B-sides. I didn't call them B-sides. You guys are the ones that voted on them. Okay, just confirm for me that we're not in a blurry situation here, and then I'll kind of keep going. How are my friends up here doing? Everybody all right? Looks like we're good. Okay, awesome. Well, how appropriate that I got taunted about not playing B-sides, because I am going to do a proper B-side now. As far as I know, this will be the first time that this song has ever been played. And honestly, I don't know that it's for any really good reason other than, like, I was super terrified about the, there's like a little section. Oh, God. There's it. Okay. I'm glad I'm practicing this now before we start. We'll see if I get it when we start. Yeah, so I actually recorded that at half speed, and you know, kind of like the Beatles would do these like harpsichord things where they would record them at half speed and speed them up, and it would make this harpsichord sound. And that's sort of how we did this on this particular song. So I'm liable to fuck it up pretty badly, but it was really fun to learn this and to debut it here. Gosh, you know, now probably about 12 years after it was recorded. And I apologize for touching my face. I'll wash my hands when I get done. This one's called At Full Speed. Should the canyons burn all night long like the 4th of July, we won't need an alibi. There's gas in the car, hours till sunrise. And it's no guarantee leaving town's gonna set us both free. Staying here, it's just not what we need. Staying here, it's just not what we need. Because America shines, yes it does. In between the white lines where I found love. All alone on the road, going nowhere, nowhere. Going nowhere, nowhere. Going nowhere, nowhere. At full speed. And I have traveled far, and I've seen things that I'd rather not say. But when you travel, it's better that way. The darkest secret, the harder you keep it. But it's no victory, always running away like I do. Always know that I'll come back to you. Always know I'll come back to you. Because America shines, yes it does. In between the white lines where I found love. All along on the road, going nowhere, nowhere. Going nowhere, nowhere. Going nowhere, nowhere. Full speed. should the canyons burn, I am catching a ride off the coast. Woo! Man, shit gets me nervous to play a song that's like not new, but new to be played. But that was exciting. That was fun for me. Thank you for requesting that one. It's so funny. Like I stumbled across those series of like vinyl EPs that we did. I think that was on something called the Ghost Overground. That was attached to the Glass Passenger era. I think like there's always been an element of like trying to of running away in my music. I think because I moved a lot when I was young. There's always been a sort of sense for me that packing up and getting the hell out of town is a good solution. And certainly in the era that I was working on Passenger, like there were just so many moments where all I wanted to do was just like get in my car and fucking drive. And I did in the middle of that record, in a really bizarre moment where we just shut the production down and I just drove. And that song certainly was born out of that period of time. I feel like there's, not so much for me personally at this moment, but I know because we're all kind of like locked in at our houses and whatever and feeling cooped up. I guess I can see why that song might have ended up on a set list. And it's only normal to feel like you got to break out. And I hope that you guys are finding moments to sort of get, ourselves sane and whether that means getting outside and finding a little space that's just yours and doing a thing. We've been howling at 8 o'clock at night. Apparently that's become a thing. I don't know if you guys are howling at 8, but we're howling at 8. That's kind of become a deal. So if you happen to be in South Orange County and hear some loud howls in the burbs down here, it's probably me and some of my friends. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna keep this boogie in. This one is for my dear friend Michael Porman. Now, for those of you who have seen our shows recently, you'll know that we have one of the greatest drum techs in history. Tech, many other things besides the drums, but we call him a drum tech. And every day of tour, he requests this song, and just about no day of tour do we play it. And I don't know if he's watching now, but I kind of hinted to him that he was going to get his request. I wrote this tune with a beautiful human being named Matt Thiessen, who's in a band called the Reliant K, I should say. I walked around the top floor of his house in Nashville the morning that I woke up to start a series of writing sessions with him, and the floorboards were creaking just so that I walked downstairs and we had our first lines of this song. Snow on the ground in Tennessee, north came south at the tops of the trees. I don't know. I talk about the floorboards in the chorus. Whatever. Fuck it. All right. This one's called Amy I. Snow on the ground in Tennessee, north came south at the tops of the trees. Another long winter trying to fight this free. I'm waiting with the cold's got a hold on me, hold on me. So hold on to me. Amy, I've never felt this kind of cold before. Amy, This was the first song I wrote for my wife. I was probably 19 at the time. And she, she was not the easiest of that came out wrong all the way from the beginning. It was difficult to get her to want to date me. She grew up very close with my sister, and I think my sister probably was pretty used to me, thinking that all of her friends were cute and trying to date them. So I think between the two of them, it was pretty much understood that was a horrible idea. But I had really fallen like head over heels for her, and was trying desperately to just like get her to like pay attention. And we had these like this amazing chemistry, and it seemed like it was possible. It seemed possible in my mind because I knew there was something there. But I think she wasn't so into it at first, and it really bummed me the fuck out. I'm gonna be honest. So in the time between where we sort of had this like little spark and this mini fling, and me desperately trying to get her to date me, and her saying that she wouldn't, I sat down and I wrote this song while we were working on the very first Something Corporate EP, and we had like 5 songs, and there were just sort of like all these amazing nights where my sister and her friends and my friends, where we were just all like this big group of like young people finding our way in the world. But me and my band were signed, and it was like just this exciting time, and there were all these memories of Kelly and I together, sort of like that I packed into this one song in hopes that she would hear it at some point and decide that she was terribly wrong and that she had to start hanging out with me more often. And I played, the first person that ever heard it was her sister Allison. I played it over the phone because that's the kind of dumb shit you do when you're 18 or 19 and you're hoping that somebody will tell her that there's a song written about her. So yeah, it's called Walking By. Granddad left home for the circus. He was young just like me, with hope to explore. He married a girl in Virginia. She could swing the trapeze, he could sleep on the floor. Mother was born in December, on the one sunny day that winter gave up with warm summer eyes that flickered like fireflies. He stared at the world. So why do we leave these stories unfinished? My Cheshire cat doorstep, tears in your eyes. And why do you look when you've already found them? And what did you find that will nights I get high just from breathing, and I lie here with you. I'm sure that I'm real, like that firework over the freeway. I could stay here all day, but it's not how you feel. So why do I leave these questions unanswered? The circus awaits, and you're already gone. Cheshire cat doorstop, feeling your smile. It's made it so easy for you to be walking by. And what did I do that you can't seem to want me? And why do we lie here and whisper goodbyes? And where can I go that your pictures won't haunt me? It's made it so easy for you to be walking by. Walking by, walking by. Thank you. Look at this. How are my friends doing up here? The old YouTube, everybody feeling great? So I got a few more. This will be just about the least B-side of all of them. But it was requested, and I've done a bunch of these live streams, and I haven't played it in the live stream. And you know, look, I'll be honest, like, I'm here for you guys in this situation, in the same sense that you guys are here for me. I really put a lot into doing these sets, and I get nervous for these sets, like I get nervous for shows, and I think it's just because there's something about it that makes me feel tethered. It makes me feel like there's a place to go in the middle of like all this madness where I still make music for a living, and I still play shows for a living, and here you all are, you know, and I know this will hopefully, you know, whether it's over in the next month or two, hopefully we'll be seeing a little bit of light and starting to talk about how we get out and see each other. But being in this space with all of you, even though it's like me looking back at me, like I feel you guys here, and I am so grateful. So this is not a B-side. It's a big song, and I'm gonna play it anyway because it was at the top of y'all's list. So whatever. Here we go. Yeah, I woke up in New York City from my sleep behind the wheel. Caught a train to Poughkeepsie, time stood still. She wrote me a letter from San Diego to qualify her love. These flights connect to Arizona, but I think I'll stay stuck. So here I am. So here I am. Whoa. Well, I woke up in a car, traced away the fog so I could see the Mississippi underneath. I've never been so lost, never felt so much at home. Please write my folks and throw away my keys. I woke up in a car, tattoos for homes that she had loved. If I were her, I'd paint my body till all my skin was gone. She wrote me a letter as we passed through Rockford. She said she won't forget. Maybe I do, maybe I don't, but I know I am at the end. So here I am. So here I am. Whoa. Well, I woke up in a car, chased away the fog so I could see the Mississippi underneath. I've never been so lost, I've never felt so much at home. Please write my folks and throw away my keys. I woke up in a car, I woke up in a car. Maybe I could live forever, if not ever, I'd know that you'd be away there whenever I am all alone. So here I am. Whoa. Well, I woke up in a car, I traced away the fog so I could see the Mississippi on her knees. Yeah, I've never been so long, I've never felt so much at home. Please write my folks and throw away my keys. Oh, well, I woke up in a car, I traced away the fog so I could see the Mississippi underneath. Well, I've never been so lost, I've never felt so much at home. Please write my folks and throw away my keys. I woke up in a car, woke up in a car, woke up in a car. Thank you. Okay, so for anybody who feels like they have not got their share of B-sides, I'm going to do something like, I don't know, all I can imagine is that there are some of you who like banded together on Instagram to request a couple of things that are like way out there, and somehow this one managed to make it into the top 10. This is a Something Corporate song that was written when I was still very much in high school. As far as like, yeah, I was still in high school. I think I was probably like a senior in high school, and the guys in the band, because we had started playing like some like decent sized shows, there was this like skate clothing company that my cousin hooked us up with. Shout out to Casey Wheat. They were called Royale, and they like gave us a bunch of free clothes, and so in like the process of like getting the free clothes, like stuff would get shipped to my house, and one of the packages was like addressed to us from a woman that worked in the office there, and her name was Noel, and I thought it was like this beautiful name, and I'd met her before. She was super cool. There's like a chance possibly like I had a crush on her. I don't really know. I'm embarrassed to say so if it's true, because like I still like know her and her husband loosely, but you know, hey, I was like 17, so whatever. So I wrote this song sort of based on the fact that I had this like beat up box like at the house full, like that had these clothes that we were gifted in it with a dress from this woman Noel, and like that's how most of my songs get started. It's just some random set of words that jump out at me, and this was one of those. So I can't even tell you when the last time I would have actually played this song would have been, other than for recording it as a B-side for the 10-year anniversary record or something corporate. But it's called Letters to Noel. I will hack through this, as it's been a long time. But hey, hats off to any of you guys who got this one in the top 10 there. Letters to Noel, marked in cardboard boxes fell. I fell with them, crushed like them by hand. Letters to Noel, years of waiting, nothing fading. Emptied out my pen, carved the rest to my Letters to Noel, written from my darkest cell, filling up my wishing well, waiting on their return. But the driveway's clear, you pray for silence, step into my quiet violence. Do you see pictures in my words? Standing still, I'm moving faster, searching out my next disaster. You're gonna get what you deserve. Letters to Noel, I see a man a box inside a case. She keeps locked up in a place I'll never be. Letters to Noel, I emptied out my veins onto a page. Said to a scream you just can't gauge. She cannot see what's inside of me. But the driveway's clear, you pray for silence, step into my quiet violence. Do you see pictures in my words? Standing still, I'm moving faster, searching out my next disaster. You're gonna get what you deserve. But the driveway's clear, you pray for silence, step into my quiet violence. Do you see pictures in my words, in my words? Standing still, I'm moving faster, searching out my next disaster. You're gonna get what you deserve. But the driveway's clear, you pray for silence, step into my quiet violence. Just let us take it all for sure. Yeah, I'm standing still, the world moves faster. I'm holding back my next disaster. I'm gonna get what I deserve. Again, not a B-side, but not one you hear a lot, so I think that's kind of what you were thinking B-sides were. Well, it makes sense. Made for each other. Maybe we all were, you know? Swim across an ocean, it's my mattress in the basement. I'm sweating out excuses that would make a strong time. road we drove last night stretched from the deserts of Las Vegas. We filled the cups and lit one up. The snow began to burn. Oh, baby, we were made for each other. Is it possible for the world to look this way forever? Talk so much, I'm sure the world's acting crazy. Catch my bloody nose without my heart. Try to explode. My high school friends, people never change, though. We're still the same fools and drums. We wore like we were small. Oh, baby, we were made for each other. Is it possible? We lost the live stream, I'm sorry. Sorry. We lost the YouTube people. Can we just bow our heads at them? And then we'll sing this right. And I'm always on fire for days, but I still love to always. In the haze of the car crash, the orgy that just covers everything and everything. And maybe we were made for each other. Is it possible to look this way forever? Come in, you guys. You can breathe now. You can breathe, but the air is running down. You can breathe now. You can breathe, but the air is running out of you. Waited for me in the rain, in the parking lot. Hold hands, let's move closer to you. You can call me for a ride. It's a mess out there. You separate the rain. So be good for you. Good for you. You get in my car where it's warm. You cannot forget. Skin hands to my hands all over you. So what's another night? The seats roll back, they can't see the rays, the rain. So very good for you. You can breathe now. You can breathe, but the air is running out. You can breathe now. You can breathe, but the air is running out from you. And you walk the miles down the shores of California to the coast of Mexico. You could hide, no one ever knows. You can breathe now. You can breathe, but the air is running out. You can breathe now. You can breathe, but the air is made for each other. And maybe the world will look like this forever. And maybe made for each other. And maybe the world will look like this forever. Thank you all so much. Come here. Kelly, you can get in. Come here. Let's go say hi. These are my MFEOs. Oh, she's hiding. We love you guys. From our house to yours. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. See you soon. I hope. Take it easy.